Hi, I'm Jase. Welcome to Virtual Oasis. If you are new to this channel, Virtual Oasis is a collab channel, and at the moment there is a new video almost every day of the week. Every week there is a new theme, and this week the theme is music, books, and films. And I thought that I would tell you and show you my top 3 of those 3. I will first go through my top 3 of books, and my favorite book is Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer. I'm not going to be telling you the plot of the book because I'm very good at making everything sound really boring, so I'll just let you Google it if you're interested. But this book has been my favorite for about 7-ish years. I think this has been my favorite book since 2010, 2011. And I think the reason I love this book so much is because it just breaks my heart every time I read it. And I love that a book gives me that kind of emotion. There is a part in this book, and every time I read that part, it just breaks my heart and everything is just bad. But I love this book because of that. Apart from that, it's not, that sad book in my opinion, but that part is just breaks my heart. If you plan to read this and you haven't read Everything is Illuminated by Jonathan Safran Foer, one tip is that the way it's written is that there's person A telling the first chapter, and there's a person B telling sort of different story in chapter 2, and then there's person A again on chapter A. Chapter 4, there's person B again, so just be mindful of that because it can be very confusing at first if you don't really know who's telling what story, but that's how it goes with this book and Everything is Illuminated. I would definitely recommend checking out both of them, but I prefer this one over Everything is Illuminated. I also almost forgot to mention that there is a film made of this book, but that film isn't good. I would not recommend watching it. It might be good if you haven't read this book, but if you have read this book, the film is not good at all. So, But if you don't like reading, maybe you could watch the film and maybe you will enjoy that one. My second book recommendation is Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson. And this one is basically about a person, there's a woman called Christine, and every time she wakes up, she doesn't remember anything of her life that has happened the last 10 years or something like that. And basically, she doesn't remember what she did the day before or the week before. And it's very interesting, and I like this a lot. There's also a film of this. It's quite recent, a couple of years ago. And I actually really enjoyed the film as well, so if you're not a person who likes to read, I would definitely recommend checking out the film. It was really, really good. Obviously, not as good as the book, but it's really good as well. And the last one I have is a book series called Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I'm not generally into like fantasy, sci-fi kind of books, but this series I really, really enjoyed. There's 3 books first, and I think there's 2 more books out that came out a couple of years ago. I haven't actually read those 2 new books, but at least the first 3 are really, really good, and I really enjoyed them. And if you are like me and don't generally like fantasy and sci-fi kind of stuff, I would recommend trying out Mistborn. I very much enjoyed them. And next we are moving on to music, and my favorite album is Withering to Death by Darren Gray. They are a Japanese band, and when this album came out, they were called J-Rock Band, so Japanese rock. And this one came out in 2005, and this has been my favorite album since 2006 or so. And it can be a bit strange if you don't know Japanese. I don't know Japanese, I don't understand any of the lyrics. So it can be a bit strange to listen to it if you are a person who likes to know lyrics and know what the lyrics mean, but I have enjoyed this music, this album, for over 10 years, and I still don't know what the songs are about, because I like the fact that I can only enjoy the sound of the music without having to, think about whether the lyrics are good or not. Then my second favorite album is Scatterbrain by the Xcerts. They are a Scottish band, and this is their second album that came out in 2011, I think, or 2010. Probably 2011. I don't remember anymore. Does it say at the back? No, it doesn't. A bit waste of time. I don't think it says anywhere. No, but it does have cool pictures in here. So yeah, this is my second favorite album. This album is really, really sad. One of the reviews online said that it's the kind of pain that is too much to bear, and that definitely sums up the album very, very well. It's very, very sad, but I like it. I'm not sure would I like it if I heard it now for the first time, but when I heard it, I liked it a lot, and they are one of my favorite bands. And they have 2 new singles, if you want to check them out, which are a little bit happier than this album. I would definitely recommend checking them out. I don't think enough people appreciate the Xcerts, all in all. And for the third album, I couldn't really decide what to go for, and in the end, I decided to combine these 2 albums. There are 2 Elliott Smith albums. This one is called XO, and this one is called Either Or, and they are both brilliant albums. And again, the songs are pretty sad, but I really like them. They're a bit like poppy songs, and they are sad songs mostly, but at the same time, I think they are very, very great songs, and I don't think enough people appreciate Elliott Smith. Lastly, we are moving on to the films, and my favorite film is The Nightmare Before Christmas. And probably a lot of you know this film, have seen this film, so I don't think I need to say a lot of it. It's just my favorite. I'm not sure why, but it's been my favorite for over 10 years now. I saw it for the first time when I was 5 or 6 years old, and I liked it then. I remember watching it. That is like one of the only films I remember watching when I was a child. Like, that I actually remember watching it for the first time ever. And I remember liking it when I was like 5, 6, but I don't think I loved it too much when I was a child until 2005, 2006-ish time, and yeah, it's my favorite. Second film recommendation is The Diving Bell and the Butterfly. This one is a French film, and I actually thought that I would find this film very, very boring. I went to see it in the cinema only because it was a French film, and I was studying French at the time, and I thought that would be good for me to, hear a bit more French, and so I went to see it, and I actually enjoyed it a lot. It's not really a lot of people's cup of tea, I think, but because it's not like, there's not a lot of like action happening, and I think at least a lot of people I know love like action films and stuff like that, and this is not that kind of film, but I love it a lot, and I would recommend checking it out. And then lastly, the third choice wasn't an easy one, because there are a lot of films that I really, really enjoy, but I decided to go for Lucky Number 11. This one I went to see it in the cinema as well when it came out. I think it came out in the early 2000s. And there is a twist in this film, and I think the twist is what makes this so amazing. And I would recommend checking this out. I like the humor in it, and the twist is awesome, and I like it a lot. Anyway, that's all I have to say about books, films, and music. If you have any recommendations for me, then do leave them in the comments below, because I'm definitely interested in finding out about new music, films, and books I could check out. I'm not very good at listening to new music or finding out new books or finding out new films, but it would be nice to hear about your thoughts, and I would try to check those out. And if you have any recommendations for themes we could do, then do leave those in the comments below as well. Anyway, that's it for me. I will probably see you next week. Bye!